In America. I want to talk about racism today. Um, I know Mark Levin hit on this a little bit, but it's something that I've written a lot about myself ever since I've been exposed to the white privilege ideology as a student at Northeastern State University, Oklahoma. um, we have a Democrat Party today that insists on accusing Republicans, conservatives, for being racist for everything they do. The white privilege ideology is a construct that comes from critical race theory, black liberation theology, that insists that white people are racist simply because we supposedly have the power of the institutions to discriminate. But the truth of the matter is we really don't have the power of the institutions. We don't have affirmative action. We don't have the privilege of being able to call somebody racist if they disagree with us. So while the left likes to claim that, black people or minorities in general can't be racist because they don't have the power of the institutions, the truth of the matter is that all the power of the institutions rests in the hands of the minority populations. And this isn't really what this is about. I mean, I'm a person that believes we're all capable. When you really look at what the left is trying to propagate here, they believe that blacks need affirmative action in order to be able to compete with whites. They believe that blacks needed their welfare programs in order for things to be fair. The left goes to a conceited effort of discrediting successful black people. So in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, that's the real racism there. What the left is saying is that blacks are not as capable as white people, so therefore they create all these programs for them. And the reason they do that is because they are the ones that believe that. Okay, I don't believe that. I am somebody that believes, black people, Mexican people, whoever, any people, are just as capable as anybody else if they put their mind to what they want to accomplish. With that being said, probably ought to, a lot of people understand. I think there's not enough people that understand, but a lot of people understand that the real racism in this country throughout its entire history rests in the hands of the Democrat Party. It's always been the Democrats that supported segregation. It's been the Democrats that formed the KKK. It's been the Democrats that voted against civil rights legislation. This is historical fact. It's historical fact that it was the Republican Party that introduced the first civil rights bill after the Civil War. It's a historical fact that it was the Democrats that advocated for segregation. In fact, Woodrow Wilson, which a lot of people refer to as America's first fascist president, actually resegregated parts of the government that had been desegregated for years. When you look at what happened in the 1960 time frame, the truth is that black people used to vote Republican, okay, until the late 1950s, early 1960s. It was Dwight Eisenhower that introduced the first civil rights legislation, and it was voted down and kicked back by the Democrat-controlled Congress, the Democrat-controlled Senate. The Senate Majority Leader was Lyndon B. Johnson, who later became president. And this information I got from the movie Runaway Slave, made by Reverend C.L. Bryant, who used to be a radical member of the NAACP, until one day he realized what the agenda was. So he came out and made that movie, Runaway Slave. And according to him, and this can be found by Googling it, I've written a lot about it, I've mentioned it several times. Lyndon B. Johnson, upon taking the presidency, took it upon himself to introduce the same legislation that Dwight Eisenhower was trying to introduce, and introduced it as his own. with a stipulation attached. He said that he was going to use that legislation to, quote, get those N-word people to vote Democratic for the next 200 years, unquote. And what the plan was to make the black population dependent on welfare. The Cloward-Piven strategy, folks. Okay? That's what it was all about. It was about making this population of people dependent on welfare so that they would have a voting base. And it worked. Okay? But not only did it work, but it destroyed the black family. I mean, that is the reason why you have all these little black children growing up without daddies. Okay? That is why. It's because of these great society welfare programs thought up by the Democrats in their quest for absolute power. We need to educate them on this, folks, because they're just being manipulated. And you have to ask yourself, why are all these people being allowed to come into our country? Probably because the grip on this voting demographic is going away. The Democrats will trade one voting demographic for another in a heartbeat, folks. You know, it's just the way they are. But anyhow, it's just something to think about. And this time, you know, when the majority of us when we really need to be thinking about how we're going to save this country. Because, you know, really we're in a lot of trouble. You know, the truth is sometimes I wish I was just a crazy conspiracy theorist. Anyway, talk to you later.